Sonic CD is one of the best classic Sonic games of all time, and in my opinion, one of the best Sonic games of all time. Now, before you guys go and call me all sorts of names in the comments, just hear me out. There's just something about Sonic CD that I love. The presentation, the story, the gameplay, and the soundtrack. All of these things I'm going to talk about in today's video. Stay tuned. So the story goes as follows. Once a year, Little Planet appears over Never Lake. Sonic, wanting to see this sight for himself, travels to Never Lake, but when he gets there, he finds Little Planet in chains. He quickly figures out that this is the work of Dr. Robotnik. I mean, it's pretty obvious. My dude's face is literally carved into the side of the mountain. Bruh. But anyway, Sonic races onto the planet to put an end to Dr. Robotnik's schemes. Also important to the story is series newcomer Amy Rose, who makes her appearance at the end of the first level of the game, Palm Tree Panic. It's obvious from the get-go that she has a huge crush on Sonic. So she follows you to the next zone, Collision Chaos, where she's kidnapped by another series newcomer, Metal Sonic, who is arguably Robotnik's greatest creation. So now it's also up to Sonic to save Amy Rose, defeat Metal Sonic, and then free Little Planet from Robotnik's clutches. And I love how they get this story across without a single bit of dialogue. It's amazing. So the first level in the game, Palm Tree Panic, is very similar to other opening stages in other classic Sonic games, but there's something different about Palm Tree Panic. So all throughout the stage, and every stage in this game to be exact, you can find two signposts, one that says the past and one that says the future. As you hit one of these signposts and start traveling at top speed, sparks start to fly all around you, back to the future style. No, I'm serious. There's even an achievement that you can get called 88 miles per hour. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. So depending on which signpost you hit, you'll either travel to the past or the future. And man, this is where the presentation and visual storytelling really takes off. The past versions of these stages, they look ancient and prehistoric. Even stages like Wacky Workbench and Metallic Madness have this early construction look to them, opposed to their present versions where they're complete. Now when you travel into the future, here's where the visual storytelling really takes off. So if you travel to the future without destroying the robot generators in the past, you actually create a bad future. And the bad future is full of machinery, pollution, and rust. And you know what? It's all your fault. As the player, you control the destiny of each of these zones. It's up to you as the player to go to the past and destroy the robot generators and prevent this horrible future from happening. And when you do that, you actually create a good future. Now the good future is full of beauty, serenity, and flourishing wildlife. You also have all the animals frolicking all throughout the stage. And an added bonus, there are no badniks or robots of any kind. That makes for 4 versions of the same stage: the present, the past, the good, and the bad future. And check this out, the good and bad future part of the game is not even limited to the stages, but even the ending. If you destroy all the robot generators in every stage or get the time stones, you get the good future, where at the end it says you're too cool. If you don't do either of these, you get the bad future, where Little Planet reappears chained up to the mountain again, as it says try again, and an ominous laugh track plays in the background. My goodness, that is some heavy stuff to put on a kid. I remember when I first saw this as a kid, and bro, I was like, now Sonic CD has 2 forms of gameplay, one for exploration and the other for more traditional gameplay. Now the explorational gameplay is self-explanatory. It's for players who want to explore the stages, whether it's looking for the robot generators or looking for secrets or rings or whatever may have you. Now the traditional gameplay is for players who don't want to do all the extra stuff of going back to the past, destroying the robot generators and all this other stuff, and they just want to play the game straightforward. And I love this split in gameplay because it welcomes two different types of Sonic players. If you're more explorative or if you're more traditional and you want to just speed through the stage as fast as you can. Also new to the gameplay is the spin dash and the super peel out. And man, does Sonic look cool when he does the super peel out. I remember seeing him do this for the first time as a kid and I was just blown away, bro. The super peel out is helpful to both traditional and explorative players. Also added to Sonic CD was the drop dash in Sonic Origins. These two added additions really spice up the gameplay and sets it apart from other classic Sonic games. Even though you can do these same moves in Sonic Mania and other Sonic games in the Sonic Origins collection, so now as for the soundtrack, there's two different soundtracks. You have the US soundtrack and the Japanese soundtrack. And depending on which soundtrack you're playing with, you'll either listen to the songs like this, or like this. So my final thoughts on Sonic CD are this. It's still one of the best Sonic games I've ever played. I remember playing it and beating it over and over again as a kid on the Xbox 360 and even recently in Sonic Origins when it came out last year. And everything I talked about in this video, from the story to the presentation to the gameplay and even the soundtrack, is why Sonic CD is the best Sonic game of all time. Thanks for watching.